getting started, we would like to do some basic checks. So could everyone quickly comment on the chat whether you guys can hear me well? If yes, just put yes. All right, that's awesome. And how about my screen? Can you see my screen? You should be seeing a Microsoft wallpaper. All right, cool. Okay, folks, with no further delays, let me get started. All right, so good evening, everybody. So our topic today would be on overview of communication sites in SharePoint Online. So myself, I'm Vignesh Ganeshan. I'm a SharePoint and Office 365 technical specialist. And today, Jayanti would be joining with me for this session. Okay, so once again, thank you so much for choosing to be with us this evening. So that's a little bit about myself. So for folks who don't know me already, I'm Vignesh Ganeshan. I'm basically based out of Bangalore. I'm a SharePoint and Office 365 technical specialist. I'm a C# Corner MVP, and I do some active blogging on C# Corner, Collab 365 community, European SharePoint community, and that's my blog site for you down there. Okay, so that's all about me. So today my co-speaker would be Jayanti. So Jayanti, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself for our wonderful audiences today?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Yeah, fine. So, hello everyone and welcome. Myself Jayanti, based out of Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, Microsoft Certified Technology Specialist and SharePoint Developer. Having 3 years of experience, I'm passionate on Microsoft technologies such as SQL Server, ASP.NET, SharePoint, Office 365, Dynamics CRM, and Power BI. Okay, I would like to work in a SharePoint platform because nowadays SharePoint is even better than ever. So let's talk little demo session. Thank you. Thanks to C# Corner and chapter lead for giving this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you so much, Jayanti. Let's move on, folks.
Fine.
So this is our agenda for today's session. So we got a pretty brief agenda. Okay, so I'll be beginning by talking about, I'll be giving a brief introduction on what communication sites is all about. I'm pretty sure most of you would have already heard about communication sites, so I'm just going to give you a brief introduction. Then I'll be talking about the different designs, as in the different templates which we get in a communication site and what's inside each of these designs. Okay, and then there is going to be some interesting demo on how to create communication sites, and we'll also be showing a demo on how to customize the communication sites. All right, and of course I'm going to talk about the benefits of using communication sites, and there are certain things which is lacking in communication sites as opposed to a team site. So I'm going to talk in detail about what's lacking. Okay, and then we'll be talking in detail about the pros and cons, and finally there will be a recap and we can conclude. I hope we all are good to start. So targeted audiences for today's session. So IT admins, so folks who are working as Windows or Office 365 admins, and folks who are working as SharePoint and Exchange or Skype for Business administrators. So we have some pretty good insights for you in today's session. And Office 365 administrators and developers, right? So folks who are playing the role of taking care of the entire Office 365 environment in your organization, and for folks who are mainly focusing on developing the Office 365 stuff, right? Whatever apps are there, maybe you're working on the SharePoint side of development, right? Today we have some insights for you as well. And for folks who are new to Office 365, so this session won't be just limited to folks who are working in Office 365 for quite some time. All right, so for folks who are new, we are going to show you some cool stuff about what communication sites is all about and how you can play around with it. And yes, even if you're a normal business user or a normal end user, right? So, and let's see down the line after 6 months, your organization is going to start using communication sites, right? So we are going to show you how you can make use of communication sites to enhance the way you do business with your customers or with your peers, okay? So the evaluation of SharePoint, okay? So, of course, our topic today is on the communication sites. But before I step ahead and talk in detail about communication sites, I'd like to refresh ourselves about where SharePoint started and where we are now. Okay, I'm going to assume that everyone on today's session is a SharePoint professional, and the slide which you're seeing in the screen now should make a lot of sense to you. But let me just walk you through so that we can refresh our brains. Okay, so yes, so SharePoint started with the 2001 version, I'm sorry. So it was called as the SharePoint Portal Server back then. So basically Microsoft was working with this Office Server product, and then they came up with this new product called as SharePoint Portal Server back in the 2001s, right? And then we had this SharePoint Portal Server 2003. So if you think about the SharePoint Portal Server 2003, that was a product which came along with the Windows Server 2003 operating system. Okay, so it was a free version back then. So whomever had the Windows Server 2003 got the SharePoint Portal Server 2003. Okay, and later SharePoint started to become a standalone product in MOS, right? So back then it was called as MOS 2007. From that point onward, SharePoint was a separate standalone product. So whatever pitfalls were identified in SharePoint 2003, those were eradicated in the MOS version, right? And there were some new enhancements and stuff like your BI and all those things were included in the 2007 version of SharePoint. Okay, and I would like to just stop here and talk in detail about BPOS. Okay, so today a lot of us, we talk about Office 365, and that's a technology which everybody, specifically folks who are working on SharePoint or Exchange or Skype for Business, right, or who's even working as a developer, I believe a lot of you would know what Office 365 is all about. But I think there is a small gap in understanding where Office 365 came from. What was the previous version of Office 365? Where did this Office 365 come from? Okay, so back on 2008, there was a product by Microsoft called as BPOS, which is nothing but Business Productivity Online Service Suite. Okay, that was nothing other than that is nothing other than the hosted version of Exchange 2007, Link 2007, and SharePoint 2007. Okay, so that was once again a cloud product. So, but it was the 2007 version of SharePoint, Exchange, as well as your Microsoft Instant Messaging, which is now called as your Link or Skype for Business. Okay, so that is how Microsoft came up with this option of having a hosted environment. So BPOS was the one which laid the foundation for Office 365. So that's where it all started. Okay. So later, once again, on 2010, Microsoft came up with SharePoint Server 2010, and then on 2011, the bigger announcement came wherein Microsoft started launching Office 365. So back then, it was the 2010 version of Exchange, SharePoint, your Link, and Office 365 even included the Office Professional Plus, which was not present in BPOS. Okay. And the other thing which I would like to talk a bit detail, right? So there is a lot of misconception in industry in understanding about what Office 365 is all about. Okay, so folks, can everybody hear me well? Is there any disturbance in the audio? Is everything perfectly fine?
Yes,
can someone
hear you properly.
All right.
Yes, we
all
can
right.
hear.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, so as I said, there is some kind of confusion in one moment. Back to my slide on the evaluation. Okay, so most of the time what people tend to think is Office 365, right? So let's take SharePoint Online as an example. People tend to think that your SharePoint, let's say your SharePoint Online is the online equivalent of your SharePoint 2016 or your SharePoint 2013. But if there is something which you take away from today's session, let me make you clear that Office 365 has nothing to do with your on-premises version. Even though the UI looks very similar to what you see on SharePoint 2016, right? Office 365 is a platform which is evergreen, which is quite ahead of your on-premises version. So that's how it is, right? So Office 365 is evergreen. So any new updates, any new feature which is meant for SharePoint will be showing up in Office 365 first. And that's how the product has been designed. For example, today our communication site that is only present on Office 365, and you won't see that on SharePoint 2016. Maybe by next year, sometime Microsoft can release it. But the general idea is try to get this clear that your Office 365 is always an evergreen platform, and it has nothing to do with your on-premises version. So back once again on 2013, we had the SharePoint 2013 version of SharePoint. So I think today many organizations are stable and they are using SharePoint 2013 version. And finally, the bigger announcement was made last May, wherein Microsoft released SharePoint 2016, the next on-premises version of SharePoint. And yes, Microsoft is working on their next on-premises version of SharePoint, which might be SharePoint 2018 or 2020. The announcement has always been made. But at the very same time, I would like to inform you all that Microsoft has made it very clear in all their conferences that moving further, Office 365 would be the main focus for SharePoint as opposed to on-premises. So let me move on. So let's talk about what communication sites is all about. So the name itself says communication sites, which means you're going to use this site to communicate with your peers, or maybe with your external vendors, or maybe with your external folks, right? So it's a simple way to share information with others. Maybe you have a department and you want to give some about us information about what exactly you do, what is your business all about, then you can use a communication site, right? And then if there is any event, so as we show you a demo on the communication site, you'll get a clear picture on what exactly communication site is meant for. And at the very beginning of the session, I want to inform you folks that a communication site has nothing to do with your team site. These are two different things altogether, and the purpose of these things are totally different. So of course, being a SharePoint folks, will tend to compare the features which are present in team site as well as in communication site, but the purpose of these two sites are totally different. Okay, so you can use communication site to share your news, reports, status, and other information in a visually compelling format. Yes, and a communication site, it's using the modern interface and mobile friendly, which means you can access your communication site from any device, be it your laptop, be it your desktop, be it your mobile device, be it your iPad, right? So a communication site can render well in any of these devices. And the editing experience is very simple, right? So you don't need to go ahead and fiddle around with all the crazy editing options which you see on a team site. Here the editing is very simple and it is very intuitive. And yes, so this was introduced on May 2017, right? So as of now, it's only available for first release customers. So for folks who are not aware of what first release is all about in Office 365, I'll just show you a demo so that you guys get to understand what first release is all about in Office 365. So the general availability would be somewhere on Q3 of 2017. So this is what communication site is all about. It will make more sense to you when we are showing you a demo and we talk further about what communication sites is all about. So how do I get access to communication sites? As I said, this is available only in Office 365 and not on SharePoint 2016 on-premises or on SharePoint 2013 on-premises. This stuff called as communication site is only meant for Office 365, and you either need to be a first release customer or the entire Office 365 tenant which you're working on should be set on first release. So communication site designs. So normally what happened if you tend to go ahead and create a site in SharePoint Online, right? The moment you click on create a site, you're going to be given a dialog box which gives you certain predefined templates. Let's say if your intention is to create a team site, then you would get a template, then you would get an option saying, hey, do you want to create a team site? Click here. or maybe if you want to create a community site, or maybe you want to create a blog site, right? So those are different templates which you see when you want to create a normal site collection. So similar way, on a communication site, there are some other designs. Okay, so we have the topic design, the showcase, as well as blank. So when I say designs, these are nothing but templates. Okay, just try to compare this with your team site, whatever you see there. So here you have these three different templates called as topic, showcase, and blank. So a topic is nothing but a template designed to present a large amount of information such as news, events, and other content. Okay, whereas a showcase is nothing but designed to showcase a product, a team, or an event. And of course, a blank template is nothing but you have to build your own design from the scratch. When I show you a demo, it will make a lot more sense to you. So what's inside a communication site? Now that I told you what a communication site is all about, and I set some anxiety within yourself about what communication site can all do. So I think most of you would start wondering about what communication site is all about and what's inside this. So let me just quickly show you what's inside a communication site so that you can have a look for yourself. So here I am on my Office 365 Admin Center. Okay, so I'm clicking on admin. So I'll just show you what the first release is all about and where you find that option. So your first release is basically nothing but, let's say, we as SharePoint administrators or Exchange administrators or Skype folks, or maybe as a SharePoint developer, right? So Office 365 is a product which keeps receiving update every day, right? There is something which keeps coming to your tenant every day, and there are chances that that might break some kind of customizations which you have done for in your SharePoint environment. So to be on the safer side, you as admins can get those updates at least 15 days prior to the general availability. Let's say today I release an update. Let's say today is May 1st, right? And I want to see, and the update is gonna come to my tenant on the 1st of May, right? So I can get this at least 15 days prior to this, so that I can do the good amount of testing and I can make sure that everything is cool, so that it doesn't become a surprise when this is pushed for all my users. So at least 15 days prior to the general availability, you guys will be getting it so that you can test it for yourself. So the first release, this is where you can find it. You go to settings, you go to organizational profile. So you have something called as release preferences. So here you can go ahead and set your tenant on first release. So there are three different options given here. One is the standard release, which means the general availability. You'll be getting those updates like every other user as Microsoft pushes it. When you say first release for everyone, which means everyone in your organization, whomever has an account in Office 365 and is using the Office 365 products, they'll be getting the patches or the updates 15 days prior to when it is made as generally available. And first release for selected customers, if at all you want to select yourself or maybe a developer or someone so that you guys can test it quite ahead, yes, you can use this. So this is how you go ahead and set it. So if at all you're not seeing communication site currently, just put your tenant on the first release mode, and once you're making this change, exactly after 30 minutes or some 50 minutes, you'll start seeing the communication site. Now I'll just show you how to navigate to the communication site. Okay, so let me go here. So I'll go to the SharePoint home. So this is where you get to see a site. So when I click on create site, you will be given with two options. One is your normal team site, and then you have the communication site. So once you put your tenant on first release, you'll start seeing this communication site. Until then, you won't be seeing this option. Okay, so make sure that you're putting your tenant on the first release mode. So when I click here, I'm going to be given with three different designs, which means the topic, showcase, and blank, which I was explaining in my slide a minute ago. Okay, so moving on to my presentation. So in addition to this, each template comes with a set of some inbuilt web parts. Okay, so these web parts are meant for specific designs. Let's say you see a hero web part. A hero web part is meant only for a topic design. It comes pre-built with a topic design. Okay, so in that manner, we have all these web parts. We have the hero web part, which is mainly meant for highlighting some important content. Okay, and you can add up to 5 items. And then we have a people web part, which comes pre-built in the topic template, which showcases notable members of the team. And then you have the events web part. If at all you're conducting some event and you want to showcase that to your audiences, then you can make use of the event web part. Then you have the Microsoft Stream web part. Okay, so if at all you want to present a gallery of videos, right? So you know the Microsoft Stream, which was recently rolled out for Office 365. So you can copy a video from there, and you have a Microsoft Stream web part, and you can embed those videos using this web part. And then we have the news web part, which is mainly meant for broadcasting any news which is going on within the organization, or if at all you want to convey some information in the form of a news to your audiences or external vendors. And then you have your document web part to insert an Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and then the image gallery web part, which means you can have a collection of images. So there are like 7 different web parts which you get collectively on all these 3 different designs. So these 7 web parts are collectively meant for 3 different designs. So let's see which design gets which web part. Okay, so on a topic design, you will be getting your hero web part. So this image is your hero web part. And then you'll be getting the event web part, and then you'll be getting the news web part, and then you'll be getting the documents web part. Okay, so I'll just quickly open a site which was created using the topic design so that you guys can see it for yourself. So here you go. So this was created using the topic design, and just see the rich UI which you see. This was never possible before using a theme site, right? So this one is called as the hero web part, and this one is called as the people web part, and then we have the quick link, then we have the event web part, and then we have the Bing maps. So there will be a demo later by Jayanti wherein she is going to explain in detail about how all this customizations was done without even writing a single code. She's going to walk you through a detailed demo on how this was done. But for now, this is how a topic design looks like, and these are the web parts which you get to see on a topic design template. And the next one is your showcase. So this site was created using a showcase design. So in a showcase, you get the hero web part as well as the image gallery web part. So the one which you see here is the hero web part, and the one which you see down is the image gallery web part, wherein we have added a lot of images. So we took the concept of having a restaurant and how you can showcase all the dishes which you're serving for your customer using a communication site, and that's the reason you see all these yummy dishes as images on our site. And finally, you have the blank design, which means nothing comes as pre-built. You should go ahead and create your own design. So this site was created using a blank design template. So just give it a minute so that it opens. So this was created using a blank template, and all this designing was done by Jayanti herself. So she'd be explaining that in detail to us. So these are rich stuff. So all you SharePoint folks would know what it really takes to do this in a team site, because I'm pretty sure you need to run lines and lines of codes and do a lot of customization. You need to bring in a developer, and there is a lot of stuff which you have to do. But with the communication site, it's just few clicks and you can get this done. So these are 3 different designs. Okay, so as I said, in the showcase, you get to see the hero web part and the image gallery web part. And in the blank, you want to start and do everything from the scratch. Okay. So what else do I get to do apart from whatever I showed? Yeah, you can do some theming, you can do some custom styling and apply color to your sites. That is something which is what you get to do in your team site as well. The same thing applies here. And the top navigation, that is something which you get to see in your team site. You see the home, the navigation, which allows you to move to a different site. So that is present, and if at all you want, you can edit it. and you can change the entire page layout. Like if you want to rearrange the order of the web parts, yeah, that's just a click away. Just edit it and you have an option to change your page layout. You can do that. And then there is something called as site usage. As these sites are meant for mainly for broadcasting stuff, or some news or events, and if at all you want to know how many people have viewed the content or how well your site is doing, you have a pre-built web part called as site usage, and that will give in all those informations. And then you have the custom web parts as well. So you can go ahead and create your own custom web part. And let me make it very clear that as of now, communication sites only support your SharePoint frameworks. Okay, so that was something new which Microsoft rolled out. So it is a page and web part model that provides full support for client-side SP development. So that's what the SharePoint framework is all about. And if at all you want to create a custom web part, you have to do it only using SharePoint framework. So that's kind of a limitation here, but that's how the product has been designed. So whatever I mentioned now, we can see that in a detailed demo. So now it is demo time for us folks. So Jayanti is gonna walk us through on how she created all these different designs, what are the different templates you get to see, and what are the different web parts you get to see here. And she's also gonna show us how to create that using, how to create communication sites using a PowerShell script. So that script is not supported by MS as of now. A gentleman was kind enough to share it with us, so we just grabbed it from him for our demo today. So she's going to show us some interesting stuff. So over to you, Jayanti.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for the nice intro, Vignesh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. I'm going to make you as the presenter. Yep, all yours. Okay. So folks, can everybody see Jayanti's screen? Then yes. Quickly put that in the chat window. All right, thank you, folks. Awesome. All right, Jayanti, you can carry on.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, now hope you have some clarity on communication site, what exactly is and how we can get benefit from this. So obviously, for creating the site, you don't want to be a developer or UI designer. Anyone can create a fast, beautiful, mobile-ready intranet site. In my developer experience, I'll say it looks good on web, SharePoint mobile app, PC, and Mac as well. It's having a lot of major improvements in content editing experience. Now I'll show you how to create a communication site in a SharePoint. Here I'm in a SharePoint landing page. On top of that, I can see create site. Just click on that. So once click create site, you will now be prompted with type of site you want to create. Yes. Do you remember in the past, it would allow you to create a theme site, but now you can see these two options, theme site and communication site. People may have a confusion now. When should I create a communication site and when should I go for a team site? Say for an example, your company is working for a new project or you want make everyone aware of that, or you are working on a product or you are working on specific event, then you can create a communication site. But when should I create a team site? Yeah, this is basically for sharing your documents or having conversation within your team. You see this symbol also. It's like a team effort. Whereas this one about your announcement, achievements, where you're going to publish across your organization. It always good to see with Microsoft team, they're giving some description about what that particular template does. So I hope you clear now when should create a team site, when should create a communication site. Now I'm going to create a communication site quickly. So with this pop-up come up with a lot of cool features where I have to design start from. So I can see the list of designs, topics, showcase, blank. It's awesome. So, Vignesh explained very well. This is a topic showcase come up with some pre-configured web parts. It would be a starting point to meet your common needs. So whereas a blank, it's your time. You can create your site from the scratch. And whereas here, let me gonna create one site with the topic design first. And also you can see the preview of each design, what it is. And also showcase, you can see showcasing some products and events, and whereas the blank, it will give only the blank space. Okay, let me create a topic site, topic design with the communication site first. Let me gonna enter the site name. So you can see here it's a whenever I'm giving that site name, it's automatically taking the site path /site/webinar _ topic site. If you would like to give some friendly URL, you just edit the site address. You can give a friendly URL. All right. And just give a site description so that people can understand the purpose of the site. Just click finish. It won't take much time. You can create a communication site within a fraction of a second. It will take you to the SharePoint communication site landing page. All right, now the site is created quickly. So here I can see the basic top navigation here. You can notice here, normally in a team site, you have a top navigation and left navigation. Here is not like that, only the top navigation. Here is the option to edit the links. You can add your links by clicking the plus circle option. Yes, you can give your address. Likewise, you can add a number of links. You can also have some child links. So if you want to add some links under topic site, just click on that. And here is an option, make sublink. Okay, now it's added quickly. If you want to move this navigation to move up or down, here is an option to up. And if you want to edit something, once you create a navigation, here is an option to edit. And also if you want to promote some sublink, also that you can do. And if you don't want this link, then you can remove it quickly. So I just click save. So all right, now it's added, perfect. Okay, fine. Now I can see some pre-configured web part. First one I can see is the hero web part, and below that news, and below that events and documents. So it's come up with the 4 web parts first. While you click on edit, you can see the quick links options. Let me explain you one by one. So the first one I can see is the hero web part. The name itself, hero, it's adding a more value to the communication side. It's come up with the 5 tiles with a good look and feel. You can have up to 5 tiles. It's not like that you can have up to 5 tiles. If you want, you can make it as a 3 tile or 4 tile. Let me get it and show you. So here I can see each web part having an edit section. So whatever is the banner or the style, you can see the small edit icon. And yes, with this style, you can add some images, or you can add some links to the other site, or if you want to focus some highlighted content, then you can add it. So let me try to change the image here. So here is an edit icon. I need to change the image of that banner. So here an option. So let me click change. So if you are having image from your OneDrive, or if you are having image in a currently created site, or if you're having images from your local drive, yes, you can pick from your local drive as well. So let me upload some image from my local drive. Let me add some nutrition image. It's good. Now it's started getting added. Or if you don't have any images, later on would like to add some image, in the sense you can make it as auto selected, or you can keep a custom image. Or if you want to showcase only the title, then you can choose it as a color only. This color only option will change the color based on your SharePoint theme. So if you are having SharePoint site with a different color, then the color blue color will change as per your SharePoint theme. And you can give some alternative text. So here is the welcome, click edit at the top right of the page. So let me change something. If you want to show the title of that image, yes, you can show it, or otherwise click, just you can opt the option, then it only view the SharePoint images. So that's it. Here is the one wonderful feature is you don't want to save or something, you just click cancel, then it will automatically save. And here is an edit section. You can also change the layout. And the tiles, you can see the same option you can see here. If you want, you can upload the image of the style, or you can give some link to navigate, or let me change the link. You just click from a link, as copy the URL and paste it. It will take you into the topic site. Yeah, that's it. It's uploaded. If you want to click some alternative text, yes, you can. Way to topic site. Yeah, that's it. Wow, it's cool. Likewise, you can change the images for the 3 tiles. Or while clicking the hero web part, you can have tiles and layers. So now it's having a 5 tiles by default. If you want to make it as a 4 tile, yes, you can. So in my developer experience, I can say for changing the layout or changing the tiles, it takes a lot of time, and also want to write some set of codes to do that. But in the hero web parts, it's pretty cool. You can quickly change the section layout, and also you can quickly change the tiles and layers. Let me change it as a 4 tile, or you would like to make it as a 2 tile, so you can see the difference here. Or if it is a 3 tile, so how it looks. It also looks good on web as well and mobile. Let me make it as a 4 tile. Either you can have a tiles or a layers. So layers is something about the height kind of things. How many rows you can have. So 1 row or 2 layers, in the sense it will come, these 4 tiles will come up with 4 layers. And if it is a 3 layers, what are the 5 tiles have, that will come up with the 3 layers. So let me keep up 3 tiles first. It looks good. Let me publish it and see the changes here. So next, coming to that news web part. So it's news web part. You can add some news to the page, what the site is all about. For each news, it will create some pages in a pages library. Let me show you and how to add one pages here. While I click add news, it will redirect into the different page. So here I can see the one page with the header banner and some blank space. So here you can give the name of the news. And here is a pretty cool feature is you can add some images. Here you can see one option, just up and down. You can place the image, reorder the image. Well, it's cool now. If you do it in a code, it's a bit difficult to reposition the image. Somewhat a stretch, image stretch, a height and width problem. A lot of problems you have, but here it's not like that. You can reposition it quickly by just drag and drop and reposition it. So now here I can see one option by clicking the plus option. Here you can add some tiles as well. So it's not like that you can only create a hero web part and add news and events only on a home page. It's not like that. You can utilize these features on all the pages, all the modern UI experiences. It's not like that. And also you can experience this feature in a communication site. In a team site as well, you can see all the newly created options. Let me show you one by one. So let us connect it with some Office 365 services. Let me show you first. Let us add one Office 365 video. Or first, let us split the 3 columns, then add one by one. So you're going to add one Office 365 video. So you know very well, this Office 365 video is a great place to share and view video files for your organization. So it's going to transition to Microsoft Stream. Let me add some videos. So for that, I just go to App Launcher and go Microsoft Video. Let me pick one video from Microsoft Video channel. You just copy the web URL of this particular video and paste it there. Would like to show title of this video? Yes, you can do it. You just click close. Yeah, it's quickly uploaded in my side as well. So let me add a stream. So let me go into stream channel and add some, pick some videos from there. So all right, I have some video in my stream channel. I just copy the web URL and paste it here. You can also add your channel. If you have a lot of videos in your channel, then you can also add your channel as well. Let me add a single video first. Here, one more pretty cool feature here is you can play your video from particular hours, minutes, and seconds. Yeah, it's cool. No, instead of playing the overall video, if you would like something is catchy, you can start from the particular hours and minutes and seconds. Wow, it's added quickly. Or if you want to have some conversation within your Yammer group, yes, you can also add your Yammer group here. So here is a specific web part, Yammer feed. You just again you can just copy the web address of your Yammer group and place it. So people created a food world menu and food community group. So let us copy and paste it there. I hope everyone listening me. If there is any audio problem, ping me in a chat window. Let me fix it quickly. Hope my voice is audible. Could you please confirm?
Yes, yes, Jayanti. Yeah, yes, Jayanti. You're good. Carry on.
Okay, fine. Thank you. All right. Let me copy the web URL of the Yammer group. Yes, I just pasted it. Or if you want to show your Yammer feed in a small size or in a medium size, or you want to showcase more, then you can choose the size of your Yammer feed. Yes, that's it. So it's added quickly. You can have your conversation within your team by being in this topic page. Wow, it's added. All right. See how look it is. So our page is ready. If you want to send this page by email, then yes, you can do it by sending some description. You can have some personal message about this page. So people can get an email notification now by clicking on that link that will directly redirect to the communication site page. So let me take you into the home screen. So now the news is added, as well as you can create some more news. So the next come to the events part. It's not a new one, it's world. It's basically pointing to the SharePoint calendar. What are the events you added that's adding to your SharePoint calendar? So while creating a site, by default, the calendar web part is created. If you want to create some more calendar web part, then you can add it and pointing to that particular calendar. So you can have a number of calendar web part for this particular site. So let me add one event. So it would be a happy hours. Let me pick some image from my screen. All right. You, in this event web part, you can map your location as well, where you are. I'm sitting in Coimbatore. Let me add my search with my area. All right. It looks good. It's come up with a map. So the link address, online meeting link, or some you can make it as blank, or what type of meeting it is. So it would be a meeting, or it's a workers, or it would be a business, or if it is a holiday, you can mention the category here. It's just a meeting. And you can also add some description about the event. Let me add some text. All right. Here you can mention some people to this event. All right. So when it gonna happen? Sunday. Okay, fine. Click save. So even title is required. Okay. So, all right. So if you're adding more events, here is an option to click to see all the events which you have created. You can also send this notification to your people to make alert about this a particular webinar or particular calendar meeting. Yes, here is also an option called send by email. You can do it as per the page which I have created earlier. All right. Coming to the events web part, here you can see the documents. What it will show up to the 5 or 10 recent documents which is created in a site, or if you want to add some more documents to make people to work from being in a home page, yes, you can add it. So not like that you can play only with the 4 web parts. There is a lot of web parts inside the page you can play with this. Let me explain you. So here is a quick links web part. You can add some friendly navigation link. It will give you some image and link. Open, and also you can add some tile image for your link. Let me pick some image from my desktop. Oh, so something is good. Yeah, now it's fine. Likewise, you can add a number of links in a quick link. So you may experience the same feature in a Teams as well, but here is the option you can change the view as well. So, but a compact, if you want to make it a film strip, it will comes like a slideshow. That all you can do it. So below that, you can add some people profiles. So let me add my name. You can get a contact details being in the page itself. Right. So see here, by clicking the link, you can see the recent activities. just now we created a site. If something new files added by me or something, any events conducted, any events added by me, then it automatically comes in under files. So you can also see the recent activity of the particular user in the people picker web part. If you want to know more about the particular person being here, it will directly take you into the Dell site. All right. Here are the list of other cool web parts you can play with the communication site. Whereas a text part, you can have a standard style formatting like bullets, some formatting, bold, italic. What are the contents you have? You can have the same look and feel as per your Word document. Let me add some text here. I'll just copy the content from my Word. See, is my words formattings, bold italic, bold format, and italic in the table format. But in a team side, it's really bad. Well, copy the content from your desktop to your page. But in a text web part, it will make the things easily. You can have the same look what I have experienced in your Word document. So style formatting, yes, as well as you can make it as bold, or if you want to do some alignment, left or right, or that all you can do with here. Yes, as well as some lot of features there. Here is two web parts in there, image and image gallery. Whereas image, here is a beauty is you can have some GIF related types as well. Whereas a document, you can import some Word, Excel or Visio document. So people can see the document in the page and also they can download the document. So link, you can have some friendly navigation by using the link web part and embed. You can embed some other site videos like a YouTube, or you have some documents in your SharePoint document library or in your OneDrive. Yes, you can embed it. So let me try to embed one document and see how it looks. Have my document in my site. Let me add that embed. Food menu. See the entire document I can see by going all the pages, and even I can download this file as well. And also you can give some title of the embed document. Yeah, just ready now. So next, coming to the highlighted content. So by default, it will show you the recently added documents in your page. If you want to make some dynamic content to display based on your content type or a search, yes, that also you can play with that. So let me edit and explain you. So you can see in a highlighted content which type of source you want to show some documents. So this would be at this site or a document library on this site or the site collection, or you want to show some documents from all your site. You can add it, and the type. You want to show only the documents, or you want to show only the recently added pages or news or videos or images or events, issues, tasks, links. Yes, you can add all the type of document related stuff here. Or if you want to add some document type, like I want to see only the Word documents which is recently added in my site, yes, you can do it. And also PowerPoint, OneNote, Visio, all the Office software applications, you can choose any one of the type. You can get the particular type of contents that would be displayed in a highlighted content web part. And also here you can filter and chart. Your content should be in a card format, or it should be listed out in a list, or it should be in a carousel like a slideshow preview images, or it should be in a film strip. Yes, you can do it. And also you can control how many items I can show it in a page, or there is a lot of contents you may have recently added or modified or something, but I can keep only the five documents, in the sense you can just keep the number. So that's it. I have not added any recent documents, so it will automatically show some tiles here. So next, coming to the Bing Maps, yes, it will show your map by typing the name. It will automatically ping your show your location. And the document library. If you want to show some important document library in your page, yes, you can do it. People can work with the document using this web part. So being in the page based on the permission, it will work. And here it's events, you know very well, you can add some upcoming events. Hero part, yes, it's come up with the 5 tiles. You can have some images and navigations and all. Image gallery, you can add some set of images from your OneDrive or SharePoint or your local drive. List preview. So what are the list created in a SharePoint site? It will comes under the preview. If you want to remove any list, you can remove it. So like people may have a contact list or people, persons or something, your organization related list, that all comes under. So news, you know very well, it's adding to what the site is all about. Office 365 video is just for adding videos from your Office 365 organization video. And the people picker, you just know the people information, you can get some contact details and you can navigate into their Office 365 Dell as well. So Power BI, let me show you this Power BI report. You can also add some dynamic contents from your Power BI side as well. So let me have some cool reports with me. Yes, here is my report. So here is an option to link my Power BI report into SharePoint. I just copy the URL. Power BI report link. It's loading. Wow, cool. I'm getting my dynamic content from my Power BI side. So you can connect all the Office 365 services from communication side. If you want to have some filter kind of things, yes, you can set it. So filter pan, if you have some filter, yes, you can do it. I don't have a filter pan currently. Let me show it off. That's fine. So coming to the quick chart. So it will help you to add some chart type of things. Like let me add this chart. If you want to show some comparison, like so what is the market is, and you want to make some reports here, some comparison, yes, you can do it. Now as of now, it's having only column chart and a pie chart. You can have up to 12 data label. Data label in this, let me show you so that you can have some clarity on that. Like food type, horizontal axis, and cost, vertical axis. Let me show it as a cost. Let me add some data label. So biryani cost. So that would be 90 in Coimbatore. So let me add 90. One pizza. Let me add. What is the cost? It is 64. So likewise, you can add a 12 data points. So you can showcase like this not today's food menu in our hotel. So the biryani is in the cost and the pizza is which is the cost. You can show the comparison. Or you can have some report kind of stuff, then that also you can add it in a data label. You can have up to 12 comparison points, data points. All right. So next, site activity, it will show you the recent activities. What are the documents newly uploaded? What are the documents is modified? If there is something edited or something deleted, is what are the, how many hits on the page? That all you can see it using a site activity web part. Stream, you know very well. You just connect some videos from a serial channel. And Yammer feed, just now we copied some Yammer group from to our communication site. So yeah, that's all about. You can play with these cool features.
Jayanti, that was really cool. So why don't you just explain more about how the permissions work here? Because we are kind of interested to know how is it when opposed to a team site. So maybe you can help us understand the permissions on a communication site.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, it's like a team site only. So once you create a site, so even if you are an Office 365 admin, you don't have a permission to actually access the site. So who creating the communication site? The people only have a permission to look into that. So after creating a site, so make sure you have to click share site. Now you can see the list of 3 groups created by default as like a team site. site owners, site members, and site visitors. Either you can share a site from being in a page, or else you can go to site settings and click site permissions, advanced permission settings. So it will take you into the different page as like your team site. So here you can add the members and owners and visitors. If you want to give a read permission to the people, yes, you can add the people in visitors group. If you want to give edit permission, people want to make, if you want to communicate with the site, then you can add the people in a members group. The owners and the people who creating the site, they will have a full control to the site. So like you can also create some group for your communication site and also manage your unique permissions. So one more thing you have to make sure, so in this communication site, you can't create another communication site as a subsite. So, but you can create a team site or an enterprise site. So that kind of stuff you can add it, but you can't create a communication site under a subsite.
All right.
Also,
So why don't you show us how to do this using PowerShell script?
yeah, that's fine. Let me show you. So people make sure it's not officially announced by Microsoft anyway, but you can create it using PowerShell. Let me show you. So here is the site. You have to give a tenant URL and make sure you should have an admin permission to run the script. Oh, let me add my tenant URL and the password and the site name. Let me create one. Give a site name here. So communication site. So on the URL, so you can have a friendly URL. It's not having keep every the title as a URL as well. You just give a friendly URL. Okay. Now you can see this type site template. Which design you want? Is a topic or a showcase or a blank? If you want to create a site with a topic design, you just leave it blank. Or if you want to create a site with showcase design, you just give the GUID. And if you want to create a site with blank, then you can give this GUID. So let me create a site with a topic design first. So let me remove everything. So open your SharePoint Online Management, sir. All right. Yeah, it's creating a site now. Let's wait. Yeah, site is created as well. Let's see how it looks on web. So I just created the topic design. So you should come up with 5 default web parts. Wow, the topic design is created as we expected. Fine, you can see the hero web part, news, events, and documents. Let me show you how to create a site with the showcase design. All right, just give the site name. It's creating a site. It's right. Oh, done.
Folks, sorry to interrupt.
Know how to create.
Sure. All right, so thank you, folks. So I'm making myself as the presenter. Guys, can you hear me well? Can everybody put that on the chat window? Can you guys hear me well? All right, so I believe there was a little bit of a problem at towards the end of Jayanti's demo. So I believe we couldn't hear her, but I believe we all should agree that was a wonderful demo. She walked us through all the cool stuff that we can do using a SharePoint communication site. Okay, so now I'm just gonna talk a little bit more about communication sites. Just that we saw a beautiful demo. There are a few more things which I would like to cover as a part of this webinar. Okay, so moving on. So what are the benefits of using a communication site, right? So we spent a lot of time and we saw a demo on how to create a communication site and what are the different designs that we get to see on a communication site. So let's talk about the benefits. So listed below are the benefits. So we all just witnessed for ourselves, the site creation is very fast when compared to the other site templates. Because if you imagine the creation of a team site in a SharePoint online, you know, it's going to take at least 10 to 15 minutes. It's going to sit there and it's going to spin around and it's going to create a team site for you. Whereas with communication site, it's really fast. The editing experience is very much improved. We just saw that for ourselves. And so a communication site is highly recommended for static information such as your events, about a site, status updates, you know, product launches, and basic reference information. So maybe if you're planning to have a site in SharePoint which is meant for these purposes, yes, then communication site is the one which you have to choose and go ahead with. And it's mobile responsive, so you can see this sites from any mobile device or any iPad device. As I just explained, it's easy to access from any device. And that is a nice saying which goes like, a picture is worth a million words, which means right? So in a communication site, you just can showcase your information or convey your information using images rather than trying to come up with all those fancy stuff which you do on a team site. Just put the images and your audiences are, they get to understand what you're trying to convey to them. And finally, me as a SharePoint admin, I can tell to myself that I do not need to rely on a developer to create a pretty UI looking site, right? So everything is just a click away. I can drag and drop, I can do whatever I want, and I can create a cool site maybe in 10 to 15 minutes max, right? And there is no specific license or plan required. So if at all you guys had this question in your mind, whether there is any specific Office 365 plan or any specific license that is required for this communication site, there is nothing as such. Any plan which comprises the SharePoint online also has access to the communication site. Maybe if you're on E3 or E5, or you have just the SharePoint online alone licenses, you still get to enjoy the communication site. So that's how the product has been designed. So moving on.
With this, I'm back.
Yeah, all right. So we are just moving further. So we just spoke about what are the uses, right? And so what's lacking in communication sites? So I'm just not here to do all sunshine and bunnies, right? I shouldn't be just talking about what is really cool about communication sites and what are the benefits here. So let's try to shift ourselves and try to understand what is lacking in communication sites so that you guys have a clear understanding. So there is lack of global navigation. Of course, you have the top navigation, but the global navigation is not present. The information architecture is kind of limited. You don't get to see the cool IA that you see on a team site, right? So we just saw it for ourselves. So the IA is kind of limited when it comes to a communication site. And if you ask me, that makes a lot of sense because the purpose of a communication site is not meant for collaboration. It's not meant for intranet, wherein it is meant for you to communicate some information to your external vendors. And the multilingual is limited. So that is something which Microsoft is working on as of now. And I believe as we move forward, maybe in a couple of months, Microsoft will start adding the support for a multilingual as well. The branding options are limited. So Microsoft strongly recommends that you shouldn't be customizing your SharePoint site using a SharePoint designer. Okay, so the branding options are kind of very limited there, and no subsites. So as Jayanti just explained in her demo, you cannot create a subsite with the same communication site template. So it's just a top level site which you can create using the communication site template, maybe those topic design and showcase templates. You cannot create a subsite under a top level site. There is no content targeting, which means you don't have this audience targeting feature. Lack of governance. So that is something which is a big problem because we as SharePoint folks, or we always want governance to be in place so that the contents are being reviewed, or maybe there is a proper security in picture, but that is not the case with communication sites. Anybody who has access to create a team site can go ahead and create a communication site. So there is a kind of governance issue there, and the contents which you're posting on a communication site, there is no concept of it getting reviewed. It's directly gonna get, it's gonna be published to your audiences. And lack of publishing options, which is once again a major pitfall in communication sites. So let's talk about few of these pitfalls which I just spoke about. So lack of governance control, as I just mentioned. So anybody who has access to create a team site can go ahead and create a communication site. And there is no way you can control it. There is out of the box, there is no such way, but maybe since the product is just in the beta mode, maybe moving further, Microsoft will come up with some kind of settings to control that. And there is no review process on your content, and the audience targeting is kind of missing if at all you want to showcase a specific information to your audiences, right? So that is what the audience targeting feature is meant for, and that is kind of missing in your communication site. And the SharePoint home, which is built on top of Office Graph, which kind of shows what's happening on the site that you're following. So all those cool stuff happens there. So lack of extensibility, yes. So as of now, the only way to extend your communication sites, the only way to customize it is via SharePoint framework, as I just explained. There is no other supported method. Microsoft doesn't recommend any kind of custom codes or development stuff or any kind of solutions to be applied on that as of now. But maybe in the near future, Microsoft would consider those options. But as of now, that is limited. So what you see is what you get, not as future rich as the older publishing model. And as I just said, the SharePoint framework is the only method for you to go ahead and have some custom web parts. And of course, as we all understand, right, lack of extensibility could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. Since the entire UI of communication site looks so cool and rich, if you ask me, I think there is no such reason for someone to go ahead and customize something. But if the business demands, yes, we have to go ahead and do something about it. So image reliant, which means your communication sites is mostly dependent on images, right? So you need to make sure that your content authors understand most of the items, because if at all you want to convey your information using just images, maybe some users are used to understand by reading the content on a site, and maybe for some of us it's really catchy when we just see images and we get to understand whatever I'm trying to portray, right? So it depends from users to users. And as we all know, Office 365 as a product requires a proper network bandwidth, because we are accessing a SaaS platform which is hosted on Microsoft's data center. And on top of that, your communication site is heavily dependent on images. So which means your internet connectivity should be really good enough. Only then you're going to see all the stuff which is showcased on the communication site. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons. That isn't really much, right? The site creation is fast, which is the pros. Of course, we saw it for ourselves. And the editing experience, just few clicks away, you get to edit. And a site like communication site, it's mainly meant for your events, about as basic reference. It's just the same stuff which I just said a couple of slides ago, right? So it's a mobile responsive, access it from any device, and it's easy to convey the information when you're just playing around with images, rather than you sitting and typing lines and lines of stuff that is kind of, it's going to consume a lot of your time, wherein you can just convey your information with images with all those pre-built web parts. And yes, there is no specific license or plan required. So any plan which comprises the SharePoint Online has access to your communication sites. The only thing that you as an admin should be taking care of, make sure that your tenant or you as a user is selected for first release. Only then you get to enjoy this thing. Yeah. So of course there are some cons, right? So it's hard to govern because there is no proper governance model. Anybody who has access to creating a team site can go ahead and create this. So limited news management, right? And the audience targeting feature is kind of limited. If at all you want to target certain images, right, to a specific group of audiences, that is kind of limited. And there is no concept of cross-site publishing. That is kind of meant for your team sites, right? So wherein you have a content from one site, you want to publish it. So a communication site is not meant for that. But if at all you're trying to sit and compare the features which you get on a team site as well as on a communication site, yes, there is going to be certain drawbacks, because that's how the product has been designed and that's what it is meant for. Okay, so not recommended for an intranet homepage. Yes, so if at all you're choosing a communication site to collaborate within your team, so this is not meant for that. And you can't create a communication subsite. There is no concept of a master page here. And yes, so it's not recommended to use SP Designer. As of now, Microsoft suggests that do not go ahead and customize your site using SP Designer. And I doubt whether that would even support, right? But of course, you can have your workflows. You can create your SharePoint workflows using your SharePoint Designer, but customizing the site is limited and it is not recommended as of now. And there is no navigation and quick launch, and no PowerShell, right? For your SharePoint site, you have the get SPO site, the new SPO site, you just run that command and your site is done. As of now, there is no such specific PowerShell command for communication sites. And even the PowerShell script, which we showed you, that is something which has a lot of APIs and all those things. And as I said, a gentleman was kind enough to give his script, but that is not recommended from Microsoft as of now. Okay. moving on. So want to learn more about communication sites? So these are some useful links. So once I'm done with my session today, so this PPT would be available on a SlideShare. I'll be sharing the link with all the attendees today, so that you guys can go ahead and download this PPT and make use of all the hyperlinks and whatever content was discussed today. And a quick recap: we are almost in the end of our session today. So we started up with an introduction to what communication sites is all about. Then we spoke about the evaluation of SharePoint, like where it started and where we are today. And then we spoke about the different designs and what's inside a communication site, right? And then we had a demo on how to create a communication site, adding all those web parts. And so Jayanti did a pretty good job in explaining the complete stuff for us. And we spoke about the benefits, and then we spoke about what's lacking and what are the pros and cons. Okay. So conclusion, yes. So your communication site is the new generation of mobile intranet, allowing you to communicate to people throughout your organization, right? So it's just not you're going to communicate within your organization. A communication site can be externally shared, yes. So if at all you want to share it with your external users, even that can be done. So you can have some beautiful dynamic mobile ready communication sites and pages that keep everyone informed and engaged, rather than you sitting and seeing some boring team site, right? This is somewhat really cool to see. And yes, start using your communication sites for its beauty and its brilliance. So if your customers, or maybe if you're working for an internal SharePoint in-house project, right? And if at all your business is looking for some kind of a visually enriched SharePoint site, start recommending them that Microsoft has rolled out this communication site, and maybe you can give them a demo on how it's been built, and you can just get things done within few minutes. I'm pretty sure they would be impressed. And use your communication site to share your plans and updates in engaging and interactive ways. So that is very important. And last but not least, I believe a lot of us would agree that Office 365 is one of the most ever successful Microsoft product ever. If at all you do a Google on what are the top 10 selling Microsoft products, I'm pretty sure Office 365 would show up within the top 5 best products, right? And something like communication sites is just a cherry on the cake, right? So it is really cool to see, and you can just get things done within few minutes. So we have few minutes for questions. So audiences, if you have any questions, please go ahead and post that on the chat, so that I have Jayanti as well as Vinod, who was taking care of answering all your Q&As over the chat. So we guys are open to take up some questions for you now. Thank you. Folks, any questions?
Yeah, hi, Vignesh. I have one questions. Is I audible?
Sure, yeah, you're perfectly audible.
Yeah. So, is there in my mind some organization structure I have? Suppose I have created a communication site. Okay, all the stuffs I have created, and I want to display to the different set of users and different sections. Is there possibility to like 3 parts I want to show to set up users and other?
Yes, you can manage permissions in the site now.
No, what you're asking is the different sections of a site. A specific section should be meant for a specific set of users, and a different section should be meant for a different set of users. Is that what you're asking?
Right.
No, that future is not out as of now, but if at all you're interested, you can go ahead and on tech community, you can give this as a feedback, and Microsoft will get back to you. But as of now, that's not there.
Yes, Vignesh, you're right. So if it is a document library or a custom list, then you can manage the permission like that. But if it is a normal layout or section, that you can't control that.
Okay, great.
So any more questions, guys? So if at all you have some more questions in your mind, so we'll be emailing the complete presentation as well as the PPT to all our attendees today. You will be getting the recording. And if at all you have any questions, please feel free to write back. and you can always approach tech community, and you can post your queries, and Microsoft engineers will be responding you to back within an hour or two max. And I hope there are no further questions, and I hope we are good. So let's close. And thank you so much for joining us today this evening. Thank you, folks, and have a
Yeah,
great
thanks.
weekend ahead. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.